Hello, guys. And I don't know if you can read on my board there. This is a board that I got for myself for this YouTube channel. So I don't know if you can read there. It says, welcome to my YouTube channel. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Because if you don't do that, then there really isn't any need for this YouTube channel. So please do drop your comments, engage with me, let me know what you think of the content in this channel. All right, guys, I'm gonna sip some tea because I'm going to talk about something very, very important and special to my heart. So yes, let's sip some tea. Grab a minute to go make yourself a nice cup of tea, because tea just makes everything feel like everything is gonna be okay. So go make that cup of tea and come back. All right, guys. So like I said, I'm going to speak about something that's very, very special, close to my heart, something that I also personally experience from time to time, maybe 80% of the time. And this is really the English word, is it the crux or the foundations, the fundamentals, the teachings that I really put at the forefront of my coaching with my clients. And I've realized that a lot of them come to me and they all experience the same thing. And this is the basis of my coaching, basically. And, you know, as a coach, I coach on things that I also personally experience in my personal life, in my business life, in my career life, you know, all aspects of my life. I like to coach what I go through. And as a coach, we are often thought that we've got it all going on. Trust me, nobody does. The grams will make it look like people do, but trust me, nobody does. Money doesn't solve everything. Okay, but like I said, this is a topic that comes up a lot of the times from majority of the guys that I coach, and I want to talk about it today because I also experience it. And I'm gonna talk about it with this channel, with this content that you are seeing right now. I've been struggling to put out regular YouTube content, right? Regularly posting on a consistent basis because of two things. And I'm gonna go a little bit deeper into those. And the things that I see stopping people from really living out their true dreams, achieving their goals, and just being absolutely their best selves. It's four things. The first one is being fearful, right? The second one is uncertainty, right? The third one is wanting perfection in the beginning, right? The fourth one is comparison, comparing yourself to other people. We're gonna dig deep a little bit into these four things, and I'm hoping that if anything that you take from this YouTube channel when we stop is that you can go out there, right? Just one tiny goal that you want to achieve, and don't let these four things stand in your way. I'm gonna teach you how you can work through these four thieves and self-limiting beliefs, and I hope that at the end you can really just go out and have one goal that you write down and absolutely run for it without letting these four things get in your way. So let's sip tea and let's get into it. All right, guys, so we're gonna dive into it. We're gonna get into it, and I'm gonna share my own personal story a little bit, and then I'll get into sharing some tips and what I have done to really try get over these four thieves that we're gonna speak about, which is uncertainty, you know, being fearful, comparison, and wanting things to be perfect from the beginning. So I'm a business coach, right? And before I became a business coach, obviously I've been running my own businesses from a very young age. I've been running my own businesses and never really been employed for a long time. Maybe the longest of time that I've really been in a full-time job was about 6 months, 5 months, 6 months, awesome stuff. So there's so many things that I've always wanted to do and try out, and I didn't. Or I would try them out and I would stop halfway through, or I would do a specific thing and then I would hide it and not share it. I remember I started my YouTube content in 2016, my YouTube videos, and I stopped after some time because I looked at other creators and I just thought to myself, ooh, look at my content. I don't have this. Look at they have that. I don't speak like this. I don't dress like this. I don't, and I just stopped and moved on to other things. And it's not only with the YouTube content, many, many other things. There's many businesses that I've wanted to try and do, there's many things that I wanted to go to. There's many people that I wanted to connect with, and I just remember having thoughts and feelings that I'm not up to this certain standard. Who am I to be in a circle of these people? Who am I for these people to talk to me or let me in? I don't have the capacity to build that business. I'm not qualified enough to start this business. I don't have enough experience to start this business. Who am I to want to become a coach or a speaker? Who would be coming out there willing to listen to me? What do I have to show? What do I have to offer? It's like wanting to teach people how to make $1 million and you yourself don't have $1 million. I used to have that thought and I used to have that thinking, and I still do have it from time to time. I still feel like business coach where you I feel like for me, I used to feel like for me to be a business coach, there are certain business achievements that I should have ticked, to qualify myself as a business coach. Or for me to call myself a business owner, an entrepreneur, there's specific levels or standards that I should have achieved for me to qualify to be called that, or for me to put out YouTube content. It's supposed to have a specific background. I'm supposed to be dressed in a specific way. I'm supposed to be using this camera. I'm supposed to be, my hair needs to look like this. My makeup needs to be done. My nails needs to be done. And all of these thoughts stopped me from doing those things that I wanted to do. They stopped me from putting out YouTube content. They stopped me from announcing to everybody that I'm a business coach, that I'm a speaker. I used to ask myself, you're a speaker, how? Which speaking engagements have you been to? Trust me, I have been to speaking engagements. It's just that now I thought to myself that the speaking engagements are supposed to be at a specific level. Maybe speaking for a big company, or being on TV, or being with popular people, speaking, addressing hundreds and thousands of people. Forgetting that I've spoken in front of people, and that's still speaking. I've been in front of small crowds, small groups, delivering a presentation or delivering a motivational talk. It was just not the level that I think it should be for me to qualify as a speaker, So all of these thoughts just stopped me from doing the things that I wanted to do, and I want to talk about that today. let me start with the YouTube channel. With the YouTube channel, there's this woman that inspires me so much. Oh, that woman's content is very beautiful. There's many others, but I wanted to speak about somebody who's in South Africa and somebody who's very well known. And I remember wanting to put out YouTube content, and every time I would look at her content, I would be like, why am I not getting this quality? Why am I not getting this quality? Look at her house. Look at how seamless and effortlessly everything of hers looks. What editing software does she use? Does she have a team? All of these things. I thought that I needed to have money to go and buy fancy equipment. And that's one of the thieves that I want us to talk about. That is the thief of comparison. And how you can then get over the thief of comparison. The thief of comparison will have you not doing what you are called to do. Will have you doubting your own greatness. And I realized that the more you doubt your own greatness, the more it depletes. It's like it gets taken away from you bit by bit. Because I used to be a very, I still am a great speaker. I'm very good at speaking. I'm very good at inspiring people. But I used to love standing in front of crowds and speaking and addressing people. And the more I compared myself to others who are doing it at a bigger level than me, the more I stopped doing it. And the more I stopped doing it, the more I couldn't bring myself to do it. The more it just felt like it's a tough thing for me to stand up and speak in front of crowds. Just like, bit by bit, it depletes, like that greatness that you have, it depletes. And then I stopped producing content. I would try here and there, but I would still go look at her YouTube content and many other people for that matter. And like who's the other one? The financial bunny. Lebo Mashile, is it? No, Lebo Mashile. The financial bunny, no, Nicolette Mashile, man, I mean her. So like, I would look at their YouTube contents, and I'd be like, but why can't mine come out like this? And then I would delete it and I would not post it. Even though I had firebomb content, I would delete it and not post it. Because I was comparing myself to them instead of being inspired by them. So this is where I want to say to you, instead of comparing yourself to other people, be inspired by them, and understand that they also started somewhere, right? It may not be the start that you have, because obviously backgrounds, opportunities, resources are very different. But they also started from somewhere. They did not rapidly make it to 100 like we in our brains are thinking. And I think when you suffer from a spirit of comparison instead of a spirit of shifting the comparison to being inspired, then you need to connect a lot more with other people who are doing the work that you want to get into, and ask for advice and hear them speak to you, and I believe that's also the importance of having a coach. That's where people like me come in and coach you into really getting it done. I'm a coach. I also have a coach myself, so shift the spirit of comparison into a spirit of inspiration. If she could do it and get to this level, I can start do it and also get to that level. Believe that. And if you're struggling with it, if you're struggling to believe that you can eventually also get to that level, speak to other people in that industry or doing the same work as you and ask them, how do they do it? How do they get it so good? I was shocked to hear that it's only now that Mpumile Dwaba is getting a management team. All this time she's been doing everything by herself. And I was so inspired, and I said, you already want to have a team, but you are failing to be disciplined enough on your own and inspired enough on your own to do all of this work on your own. Start using the phone that you have, the ring light that you have, the background. This is your home. Why are you fearful to show it to other people? Now you want to go and spend money on renting out a studio for YouTube content for things that people don't even care about. If your content is great and you're good at what you do, people don't care how your background looks. People don't care what you are wearing. People don't care. Deliver what you promise. Other things is just added bonuses. So when people can see that you put in the effort into something, people see effort, guys. People see effort. And sometimes that's all that counts for you to start and grow. So don't compare, be inspired. So I kept watching different people on YouTube, also including Pumili Dwaba, and I told myself that I am going to shoot this content and I'm going to post it. And this is where this video came from. So I killed the comparison and instead I got inspired by her. I allowed the pressure to be positive pressure. I looked at where majority of these YouTube creators started from, and it was not as good as it looks today. But because they continued and went on and went on and went on, it got to where they are today, and we are only seeing that, and we are only comparing to that instead of comparing to their start. So be inspired and don't compare. Do you get what I'm saying? That's how you get rid of it. So I chose to be inspired. I got this board. I've always wanted to buy this board, but I just didn't because I didn't think it was the right time. What am I going to do with the board? When I saw one of the YouTube creators having this board, I said, okay, girl, here's some inspiration. I'm getting this board. Thank you for the inspiration. And I got the board. And don't be scared to say, I'm doing this like this because I saw somebody else do it and I liked it. I saw a YouTube creator with the board. I got inspired by it. I said, I'm going to copy that. I saw people's content with books in the background. And I said, I'm going to put some books on the side. Somebody said to me, make your nails look nice, and have some lipstick and I was inspired. People gave me advice and I did that, So sometimes don't just compare yourself to others, but also allow yourself to learn and do some of the things that they are doing and admit and be honest with yourself and say, I liked how she does her things, so I borrowed it as my own. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's how you kill comparison. And that's how you'll get things done. All right, let's move on to the second thief. All right, guys, I'm gonna sip tea. We're getting into the second thief. The second thief that I want to talk about is the thief of imperfection or imperfect action. I always teach this so much. Don't be afraid of being a beginner, guys. Don't be afraid to be a beginner. Too many times we want to get to 100 without starting at 0. And unfortunately, guys, life doesn't work like that. Even if you wanted life to work like that, it doesn't work like that. And if you learn to start with what you have, with where you are, eventually you get to level 2. Work at level 2, get to level 3. I mean, I'm shooting this content for my iPhone. I didn't have an iPhone until 2021, last year. And I always felt like, I need a camera, I need an iPhone. And that prevented me so many times from shooting content because I felt like I needed to have this thing so perfect. I felt like I needed to rehearse what I'm gonna say on my YouTube content. I felt like maybe let me first get to a certain number of followers, then I will start, and that is also another thing that will prevent you from making progress and executing what you want to do. You need to start to improve. I always say to people, you can't improve what you haven't started. If anything that you remember, you can't improve something that you haven't started. If you haven't started let's say you want to learn how to cook, how are you going to know how to improve your recipe if you haven't gone to the pots and actually started cooking and tasting, adding this, so that next time you know that when I cook this stew, I need to put this, I need to remove that, you can read all the recipe books in the world, guys. But if you don't get to the pot and start cooking, you will never know if you can cook. You will never know what it is that you need to improve. You will never know what you need to add the next time. You will never know what you don't need to add the next time. So always compare something that you want to do with cooking, and start with that. So the power of imperfect action, guys, is all that you need, and it adds up. It adds up. Today I have one YouTube video that I posted. Tomorrow I'll post the second one. Tomorrow I'll post the third one. Before you know it, I've posted about 50 YouTube videos. My subscribers have grown, and now maybe I'm getting more business coaching clients, and now I'm taking that money and I'm saving it to buy bigger and better equipment. But how was I going to get to that point if I never started with that first video and followed with the second video? A year will go by, guys, and you will still be in the same position. Till today, I sometimes just think about where I could have been with my YouTube content had I not stopped. Simply because I felt I needed a camera, or I needed an iPhone, or I needed it to look a specific way. So start with what you have. And it's beautiful when people see your growth. People like that. People want to know your growth because we are all growing. So the power of imperfect action also goes back to the first thief, comparison. You're comparing yourself because you want perfection. And most of the time, that will stop you from putting in the work. This video for me, it's far from being perfect. It's far from what I want it to be. But I said, at this stage, I don't have what I want at my disposal. And I don't even know when I'm going to get what I want at my disposal. So I might as well just work with what I have until what I want comes. And the more I'm going to put out these videos, the more I'm going to start to realize what is it that I want in my video. I can only know that, okay, next time I want lighting here. Next time, I don't want that curtain there at the back. Next time, maybe my hair should. Maybe next time I should have a guest. Maybe next time I should have some music in the background. Maybe, you get what I'm saying? So because I've started with this action, the next one will be better. The third one will be better. The fourth one will be better. And that's the power of imperfect action. Everything adds up. If you've read the book, The Compound Effect, that's what it talks about. 1 is plus 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3, plus 4, So let go of wanting to start at 100 and not at 0. Be happy with being a learner. And honestly, that's where the majority of us starts. We all start as learners. Unless, yes, you have a natural talent, But you know what they say about natural talent, that practice beats natural if natural doesn't practice. For instance, when I was growing up, I was very good at being a sprinter. I was an athlete. I did the 100-meter dash, and I was very good at it from a young age. I was never taught. The first day, I remember that day so vividly. We got on your marks, get set, go, and I was number one. And going forward, I was just brilliant. I was number one, always, up until I finished school. I even thought I was going to become an Olympic champion. But what I'm trying to teach you is that even though I had the natural talent of being a good athlete, there was somebody who didn't have the talent, who was a beginner, who had to be taught. There were literally kids who were being taught how to do the on your marks, get set, how to run when they hear the skeet, the thing go goop. For me, that was never an issue. I got on the line, on your marks, get set. I knew it like I was being taught, And when that thing went boom, I ran. Other kids would cry from a young age because they're scared of this gun. They would cry, run away. Some of them would freeze. Some of them didn't know how to do an on your marks. Some of them were very slow. They couldn't run. That's because they didn't have the natural talent. But I had the natural talent. But some of them got so good. The more they did it, the more they did it. And that is why I'm saying that they were beginners. I had the natural talent. And because I had the natural talent, had I just sat down and not continued practicing, going to practice after school, meeting my coaches, they would have gotten to a point where they got better than me with more practice that they put in. Because they allowed themselves to become beginners. They were imperfect and they put in the action. Before you know it, on your marks, they knew how to do the on your marks. The gun went, they ran. They weren't crying anymore, And sometimes I think we compare ourselves too much with people who have natural talent. Instead of saying, yes, this person has the natural talent to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but doesn't mean that I can learn how to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you have that attitude to want to learn, just put in that imperfect action, then before you know it, you're going to be at the level of that person with the natural talent. Do you hear what I'm saying? So allow yourself to be a beginner. Don't be scared. Allow yourself to learn. I think you will never get anywhere if you don't allow yourself to be a learner. Like Usain Bolt once said that it took him 9 years to run 9 seconds or something like that. He was a beginner. He did not grow up and boom, run the 9 seconds. He had to practice and practice every single day and show up putting in that action. Today he runs, it's not the 9 seconds that he wants. He comes again, a year goes by, he's still not hitting that 9-second mark. But because every day he came up and showed up with that imperfect action, just training, putting in the hours, one day, boom, he manages to run that 9 seconds. And that's the power of imperfect action. So imagine if he had stopped because he's not getting the 9 seconds that he wants, he would have never known that he would one day have the potential to get to that 9 seconds. So you need to believe and trust in yourself that this imperfect action that I'm putting in today, learning, being a beginner and improving, will one day add up and I will get the results I want exactly how I want them. So we need to allow ourselves to be learners, to be beginners, and show up every day, practice, do better than the previous day, practice, do better than the previous day. It's all about showing up and saying, guys, I don't know, can you show me how? I've approached many people. I don't feel embarrassed approaching people and asking them, guys, how should I edit this video? Guys, I'm looking for somebody who can help me with this. Guys, I'm struggling with this. What do you guys use? Allow yourself to be that person. And you'll be surprised at how open people are willing to give you the right tools, techniques, and advice to advance your course. Being a learner also means reaching out to people who already know, and then they can advise you what it is that you need to do. Like I said, always be connecting. All right? So I hope that the second thief, you now know how you are going to to get over it. Just do it and show up every day consistently with what you have. And I always say to people, if you want to improve, put your work out there. Allow feedback from people, allow criticism from people. And that's the only way you will also improve from your imperfect action. Creating work and hiding it doesn't make sense. Then why are you creating it? If you're religious, the scripture in the Bible that says you don't put on light on a candle or on a lamp and then you hide it underneath the table with the cloth for people not to see. It says something around that. What's the point of switching on a candle and hiding it so that people don't see the light? The whole idea of you switching it on is for people to see the light. So you also don't want to create any work whatsoever, have brilliant ideas, but don't put them out there. So I think another important thing of imperfect action, the power of imperfect action, is to create the work and put it out there for people to talk about it, to give you feedback, and that's how you will grow. I've put things out there and people have given me great feedback, and I always listen to that feedback. I used to shoot my YouTube content with my phone in portrait. This one, yes, this is portrait. And some guy looked at it and he said, next time, do it landscape, And I listened. This video is in landscape, So very, very important to put your work out there and let people who know to help you improve. That's the power of imperfect action. All right, moving on to the third thief. This video needs to end now because wow. All right, so we're going to the third thief. All right, I think I'm gonna combine the third and the fourth thief together as one thing, which is uncertainty and being fearful, right? I remember I once said to one of my clients that if she's so fearful of the uncertainty of what she is doing, why then doesn't she think that what she's uncertain about will be positive or will be great or will be good? Too many times we allow ourselves for negative things to overpower the positive things. If you're uncertain about the future, why don't you be uncertain in a positive way? Train your mind to say, I'm uncertain about starting a business because I know it's going to make me lots of money. Doesn't that feel good to say? I'm uncertain about starting a business because I know I'm going to have so many clients. Let's learn to be positive, uncertain, and I've lived with uncertainty all my business life, guys. And this is a topic for another day that I have planned for you guys, but I've lived with uncertainty all my business life because the businesses that I've been in depend on obviously clients like any other business, but every month a client would come and go, and there are no contracts. I can't keep a client for too long. They can come and go anytime they want to. So for me, every month financially was a bit weird because I didn't know whether next month how much money is coming in. Am I going to be able to afford my bills? Is this client going to come back? Am I going to get a new client? And the whole month I would live with that uncertainty, and I think that's what made my anxiety and my depression get even worse, because there was a point where I just couldn't take it anymore and I broke down because I needed a sense of stability, security, to say this thing of every month it's tekamuniki. This month I have the client, next month I don't have the client, next month, that was uncertainty for the past 6 years in my business. And I had to learn that that's the name of the game. I had to learn that nothing is certain. Yes, it might be for a certain period of time, but not for a long run. Like people who've been employed, we even saw with COVID. COVID made us realize how uncertain our secure full-time jobs are. People lost their jobs. Or if they didn't lose their jobs, they got a pay cut, you know? So everything is uncertain. But now you can't put your life on hold and not do the things that you want to do because you are fearful and you are scared of the uncertain. You have to choose your uncertainty, you know? And for me till today, I run businesses and they're still very uncertain. But I can tell you that they've gotten better. They've gotten better to a point where at least I can predict my income for the business for that particular month. I know how to increase the income for that particular month. So even if I lose a client or two, I still manage to make the amount of money that I need for my business to run and for bills to be paid and for me to pay myself. So the nice thing about uncertainty is that if you improve yourself, the uncertainty gets better. Because not only are you starting from the beginning, now you are in your second year, maybe let's say of business or whatever it is that you're doing. There are certain things that you now know how to do, certain things that you have now become skilled in. You've experienced certain things, you've improved on certain things that when you started, you didn't know or you didn't have. So now you have grown. And that's the beauty that we should be approaching uncertainty with. And being fearful, that's what we should be replacing it with and saying, all right, I'm uncertain where my business is going to be in the next 2 years. But if I start now and I take on some short courses, if I learn how to manage my money, if I connect with other people in the industry, that means in the next 2 years, I would have improved in my marketing. Now I know how to market better. You are doing better. Now I know how to manage my finances. You are saving more money. You are investing more. I'm networking more, you know, you are doing more. So you are doing more than what you did in the beginning. And that's what has been the beauty in my business, because it has also taught me how to be very creative. In the beginning, I had no creative bone inside of me. You know, in the beginning, I couldn't innovate. I used to think that I'm terrible at maybe designing. I used to think, you know, like I couldn't work in a team in the beginning. I couldn't work with people. I couldn't handle rejection. You know, there were points where if somebody said no to me, I would just not come back to that thing again. You know, and the more I worked and worked and worked and worked and tried this and tried that, 6 months went by and I'm like, oh, somebody rejected me and I'm not taking it to heart. You know, on to the next. Oh, this is not working out. On to the next. Oh, what can I do to make this work? You know, I used to have 2 clients, now I have 4. How did I get those 4 clients? I did this and this and this, you know. I'm not so good at sales. Oh, let me take up a short course in sales. Now all of a sudden, you know how to speak so fluently to sell your product. So the nice thing about being fearful and uncertain is that if you do the right things in the process, you improve. You know, you improve your chances of reducing the negative uncertainty into the positive uncertainty. Say to yourself, I'm starting a business now. I'm not very good with sales. I'm scared that I might not make money from my business. How am I going to survive? But instead say, okay, I'm starting a business. I'm not very good with sales. How about I take up a short course in sales, and maybe in the next 6 months, I'll be very good with selling, and we move on to the next thing. 6 months comes, you're very good at selling because you've been practicing, you did a few short courses on it, and now the uncertainty of selling has fallen off. You know, that's what happened with me. I knew that even if I lose a client, I've now learned how to acquire new clients. And I have a strategy in place to make sure that there's always a new client coming in, so that when the client decides to terminate the contract or whatever the case may be, I'm not left stranded. But before, when I started the business, this is knowledge that I didn't know. Some things you can only know through doing. Some uncertainties you can only reduce by doing. Some fears you can only reduce by doing. You know, it's like you're scared of bungee jumping, but just go and bungee jump. You know, well, this sounds like a very typical example, but if you go and bungee jump, you'll really realize people come back and they're like, oh, it's so scary, but I'm glad I did it. Some people even realize that I don't even know why I was scared. I want to go again. And the more you go, the more you just know how to maneuver it. You know that when I step there, when they put those straps around me, this is a song that I'll be singing to myself. Oh, 1, 2, 3, they're going to throw me off. I'm going to take a nice deep breath. Oh, now on your 5th bungee jump, you're even flying and, enjoying the moment, because the more you do it, the more fearless you become, because you've done it so many times. You've now improved your technique even. You've now, you hear from other people on how they get to make the bungee jumping more fun instead of scary, and you start implementing those things. That's why I always go back, always be connected, So that's just really how you get rid of being fearful and uncertainty, and it's because you improve in the process. You get better. There's no way that in 6 months' time you will remain the same if you do the right things in between. And if you are struggling to do the right things in between, that is where I recommend getting a coach. We all need a coach. We all need, and not even friends. A friend and a coach is very different. Like, there's another lady who approached me and said, you know what, I think I'm ready for you to become my coach, because in as much as I used to think that my friends would help me, I would work with my friends and we would get things done, we end up not getting things done, and our meetings and our chats just end up being chatty and fun, and we don't do the work, so I need you now. So maybe just not friends, not family, you need somebody who will hold you accountable and get you to do the work, and be effective and make progress. Somebody that will be like a tough love kind of person too, and that's really, like, as a business coach, that's what I do. So I think if you are struggling in those areas of just getting things started because you're uncertain, getting a coach will work with you through this process to make sure that you reduce the level of uncertainty by doing certain things in between. We are like a bird's eye view, and we're like, this is what you need to move yourself a little bit forward, and we put those plans and actions together, and that's how you will really improve with a business coach. So yeah, that's the 2 thieves. I put them together because I really feel like they connect more or less. So be fearful of positive things, guys. Be fearful and be like, yo, I'm so scared, guys. I'm going to be a billionaire. It sounds weird, but it really, really does work. And ask yourself that even if I'm uncertain about something that I really, really want to do, if I don't do it in the next 6 or 12 months, I'll still be in the same position. So what's the point? Would you rather beat yourself up for something that you tried and it didn't work out? Or would you rather beat yourself up for sitting and saying, it's been 2 years and I really wanted to start that business? Whereas you could look back and say, the past 2 years I tried running this business, this worked, this didn't work, and now I'm doing better. Do you get what I'm saying? Because my first business that I started, my fitness business that I was running for the past 6 years, I've now realized that this is not the business that I want to do in the next 10 years. But everything that I learned in that business, I'm now implementing it in my new business, And that means now my business is gonna succeed faster because there are certain mistakes that I made in the first business that I won't be making in the second business. Do you get what I'm saying? So view it like that. You can either have 6 months of progress or 6 months of still being in the same position. It's your choice. You can let fear or uncertainty push you to do what you want to do, because if you don't do it, you'll still be in the same place. Or you can get up, do it, go fall, get bruises, and feel like, yep, I'm still here. The nice thing is that you won't die from it. You won't die from it. You won't get mob justice. People won't come and beat you up for starting a business and then the business not working out. You might lose money like everybody else who starts a business. You might lose customers. You might feel stressed. You might not have a nice life, soft life for a period of time. That's just about it. Nothing else. And now the thought that I had just slipped away. Oh yes, here it is. So you can, even if your first business, you try it, or whatever it is that you want to try, you try it and it doesn't work out the way you want to. The improvement and the development that you would have had as a business person and as an individual will help you to come up with an even bigger and better idea. That's the beauty of starting something, is that when you move on to your next one, you are now better. You are now more creative. You are now more innovative. You now know what to do to get faster results. You now know what not to do. It's like you become better, man. Like, from having a small spaza shop, let's say, with your first business, and the spaza shop doesn't work, to realizing that, you know what? I can become the next Woolworths, and working towards becoming that next Woolworths. Do you get what I'm saying? From selling shoes on the streets to realizing that I can open up my own shop. Do you get what I'm saying? I started and I was training people in their houses, in the park, soccer fields. And then I got my own fitness studio, because I realized I can also actually have my own fitness studio. Why not? I can be like the Virgin Actives and the Planet Fitnesses and whatever. That's the beauty of uncertainty, is that you can only get better from there on. And run with that mindset. Run with that mindset. To say, if this first business is not what I want it to be, I'm getting the second one. And now I'm going to make less mistakes. I now know how to handle my finances. I know how to run certain operations in my business better than I did with the first one. Always be improving, and that's the beauty of running with uncertainty, and accept uncertainty as the normal part of life. We get anxiety and we become so uncertain, and we get so angry and so mad because we try to control life and its uncertainties. We try to control where we want it to go. If you accept that you will never be able to do that, no matter what you do, I don't care, hey, what medicine you are using, you will never control what you don't know, the future. You will never. So what I need you to do today now is take a nice deep breath and say, I'm accepting uncertainty. I will embrace uncertainty. I will rejoice at uncertainty, because it will always be there. The only way that I can make it better for myself in the future is by improving what I'm doing now and aiming to get better and better and better, so that at least I know I'm controlling where I want my future to go, instead of just sitting and allowing other things to control me. So if you have the only control that you have is improving yourself. If you want to have money in the future and not have stress, financial stresses, you know that what you need to do right now, you don't know if you won't have the job or you won't have the business or you lose your money or whatever the case may be. But you know that if I save at least 500 every month, if I lose my job, I have money saved up. So that's how you can really try and not really control the uncertainty, but control what you can in response to the uncertainties that may come up, right? So, yep, I think I've said a mouthful, guys. So yes, in closing, the 4 thieves that stop you from doing action, which was being fearful, being uncertain, comparison, and wanting things to be perfect in the beginning. And I've also just shared with you what are some of the ways in which you can maneuver and work around those things. And if you enjoyed this video, like, comment, subscribe, guys, and drop me a DM on Twitter. I'm Gifilwe Lekabe. On Instagram, Gifilwe_Lekabe or Gifilwe_Tsila, which is the business coaching platform. And if you want to have one-on-one sessions in which I really help you to craft a plan and a strategy for your life, for your goals, your vision, be it personal or business, you can let me know. Send me also a DM, and let's see how we can work together to finally move you forward from the fears that you have, the uncertainties that you have from starting to live your best life. Until next time, guys, stay well, stay safe, and go live your best life. Do work that you love, and don't give up.